The National Football League's owners got together again yesterday for a virtual meeting to discuss some rule changes. Two to talk about, and we're going to focus this segment on the decision to table, which means it didn't have enough votes to pass, the 4th and 15 alternative to the onside kick play. It felt like there was momentum for this thing to go through, Big Cat, but there were enough people that didn't like it. I saw a report last night of a straw poll that was 16-16 right down the middle. You need 24 votes to pass a rule like this. So they decided to kick the can into a future year, and I think that's what will happen at the earliest. 2021 is when it comes back for more discussion. Art Rooney II, owner of the Steelers, said this to his team's official website after the announcement of the tabling of the potential rule change. I would say we're open to thinking about whether there's something we can do with the kickoff in a more traditional setting that might allow onside kicks to have a better chance of happening, but this one was just a little bit too much of a gimmick. Coach Tomlin and I just didn't like the idea. You know, he acts like it's a new idea. The commissioner first floated this idea 8 years ago in the Time profile. Remember the enforcer on the cover holding the football, and it was all about the power that Roger Goodell uses to keep players in line. He mentions spontaneously in that interview with Time that Greg Schiano, the former Rutgers coach, who at the time either had become or was on the verge of becoming the Buccaneers coach. I think he became the Bucs coach in 2012. He had suggested the idea of 4th and 15 as a complete alternative to the kickoff to reduce the high-impact collisions because of the Eric LeGrand injury when Greg Schiano was at Rutgers. That was the first time that's been out there. So it's been out there for 8 years. Now, the NFL was very careful yesterday to get the word out. This is not the first step toward replacing the kickoff. This is a very simple and narrow fix. The onside kick has become harder to recover because they've taken away the running start for safety reasons on kickoff plays. So we need another way to allow a team that is trailing to retain possession after a score. And that is something that fits with the idea that they want games to be exciting for as long as possible. They want the team that's behind to have a chance to come back. And if the onside kick is giving them no chance to come back, we need this 4th and 15 play. So I like it. I hope it comes back. I hope they find a way to do it. I don't think it's a gimmick. It's a way to allow a team to retain possession because the current way of retaining possession just doesn't work anymore, Big Cat.
To me, it's a it's a when, not an if. This will eventually get done. Like everything in the NFL, and when you're trying to make rule changes, you just need more teams to have been impacted by this, right? There needs to be a point where teams are trying to come back, trying to do onside kicks, unsuccessfully being able to do onside kicks, and then owners getting frustrated by that. That's what ends up happening. When a rule directly affects an owner's bottom line and owner's win-losses, when you have a situation like the Rams and the Saints, and everyone saw that and they put themselves in those shoes and said, if this happened to me, I would absolutely lose it. Then you will get change. And so I understand, like Art Rooney perfectly encapsulated the NFL ownership, the old NFL ownership, with that quote being like, it's too gimmicky. We're not there yet. Eventually they'll get there, because there'll be enough time that will have passed. And I think it's a slow progression that happens a lot with all these NFL rules. First, they change the onside kick. Then the onside kick becomes almost impossible to convert. And then after enough teams try to onside kick and unsuccessfully onside kick, they realize they need to change something. And then you get the 4th and 15. So while I'm a little upset that it didn't happen right now, because I think it's a great rule and I think we should have it tomorrow, I think it will happen in the next few years.
And see, to me, this is less about a team getting screwed by the current situation than it is what's in the best interest of the game. And it's in the best interest of the game to keep the team that is trailing in the game. You don't want people declaring a game to be over and change the channel earlier than they otherwise would. And having this device, and we laid out yesterday a scenario where you could be down 10 points with 3 seconds left, score a touchdown, convert the 1 point after, down by 3. Because it's an untimed down, as it was proposed by the Eagles, you throw the ball 40 yards down the field, set yourself up for a field goal. You don't have to worry about killing the clock, and you've sent the game to overtime with hardly any time left in the game. So it keeps games interesting and it keeps teams alive a lot longer. And the owners need to realize it's good for the game, even though some of them may say, well, we've constructed this lead carefully over the first 55 minutes of the game. Why should we be penalized by this opportunity for their team to turn it around late? Hey, hold on to the lead at that point. It's good for the game that the other team has a chance to come back and win late. And the more they wake up to that, the more likely they'll be to pass it.
Mini conspiracy theory time, Mike, because that just kind of lit a light bulb in my brain, and you don't want to see what happens when the light bulb goes off in my brain every couple months. But what you just said is absolutely right. When it comes to the games being interesting late, when you have teams being able to come back late, that is always going to be good. That is always going to be good to retain the TV audience. Do you think there's a chance the NFL owners with a little bit of foresight are saying, why don't we wait until the TV deals are about to be up, not show them how much this is going to actually impact the game and retaining the TV audiences? Because let's be honest, probably not a ton. You know what I mean? Like, this is one of those rules that I think would be fun and it would happen a decent amount of time, but not an overwhelming amount of time. It wouldn't completely change the shape and how we watch football, but enough that you can think, oh man, every team's in it. Every game matters. At the hour 4 mark of the Sunday Night Football game, you better not turn it off because you have this 4th and 15. Is there a small chance that the NFL owners are having that foresight and being like, let's wait until right before the TV deals and we can throw this in there and that could be part of our pitch?
You're in the right church. Let me nudge you to the right pew. It's not part of their pitch. It's part of what they're trying to entice the networks to ask for. And then they say, well, we really don't want to do this. This really isn't, we talked about this last year. We don't have enough support for it. But, okay, if it means an extra zero at the end of the annual fee that we're going to get, we will explore this and we will try to come up with a way to pass it to make the games more exciting, to get people to continue to watch your network for as long as they possibly can. So I think there's something to that. And remember, back when this was proposed initially, it was pre-pandemic. It was at a time when we thought they get a new CBA in place between the league and the union, they're going to turn right around and redo the TV deals because there was a sense that the networks were ready to go. Given what's happened with the pandemic, maybe the networks aren't ready to go. Maybe it does move into next year, so they hold it back as something that they hope the networks will come and say, hey, that thing you were talking about with 4th and 15, we'd like to do that. Now, in the interim, the debate yesterday did focus on a couple of things that at least provide the ammunition, even if they're not serious about it long term, to push back against 4th and 15. And there were two concerns that I'm told were raised, two primary concerns during the discussion. First, there's a concern that, with an onside kick, if you recover it as the kicking team, you get the ball at the spot, you recover it, and the play ends, and you begin your drive there. So if you're kicking off from the 35, you recover at your own 46. What is it, the 35 or the 49? They keep moving the damn thing around, and I can't remember what it is. Wherever you kick it off from, you get 10 yards, you recover it, that's where the ball is, and that's where you start your drive from if you're the kicking team. 4th and 15, you can score a touchdown on that play. You can run it down to the 1, and you have 1st and goal from the 1 on the next play, and there's a concern that it makes it too easy to come back. Just recovering an onside kick, you got 40 or 50 yards to go, 60 yards to go maybe, to get to the end zone and get that touchdown that you're hoping to get after recovering the onside kick. With this 4th and 15 play, you can get the touchdown on the 4th and 15 play. So there was concern about that. And actually, Troy Vincent, the executive VP of football operations, said in a conference call yesterday that there was a joke that was made that the teams with Hall of Fame quarterbacks should be excluded from this discussion because they're the ones who are going to want it. The Patrick Mahomes of the world, who already has embraced, we talked about that last week, his tweet with the emoji that I couldn't figure out because I'm too old to figure out emojis, the idea that he's chomping at the bit, or champing as the case may be, at the 4th and 15 play. And Chiefs coach Andy Reid said the same thing. We got a guy who can convert 4th and 15. So it becomes something that is too easy potentially for some teams to do, and maybe you see teams use it not to come from behind, but you go up 7. Oh, hey, we can do 4th and 15. Now we're up 14. We can do it again. Now we're up 21. Game over.
It isn't the first thing that you threw out there. Isn't that an easy fix? You can just run another 4th and 15. You can run the 4th and 15 from the goal line, right? Like you can run 4th and 15 right after you score a touchdown. You kick the extra point or you go for 2, and then you just run it back again from the 15-yard line. If you then get the touchdown or if you score on that play, you then get the ball back. And you can pick wherever you want to get the ball back from, the 40 or whatever it may be. If you don't get it, the other team gets it back on the 40. So that eliminates the ability for a team to score a touchdown on the 4th and 15 play. I think that's an easy fix.
I think that makes it too gimmicky, though. I think if the idea is you're giving the team the ball in a scrimmage setting, 4th and 15, it can't just be, well, if you convert 4th and 15, then you get the ball somewhere else. I think that, just from a fan standpoint, you want fans to understand what's going on and feel comfortable with it. If you see Patrick Mahomes throw the ball 75 yards down the field on the 4th and 15 play and score a touchdown, and it's like, well, it's not really a touchdown. We have to take the ball now and put it at the spot, the 15-yard marker. I think they can work through this one. I think this is just part of what's it's going to take time for some of the old guard owners to understand that it is good for the game to give the team that's trailing this opportunity to try to narrow the gap late in the game. And, hey, look, defend the whole field. That's why these guys are paid to play defense. Defend the whole field.
My idea actually covers both things that you brought up, because if you're saying it's unfair advantage for the defense and the offense now has an advantage, especially if you have a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, it's a lot harder to defend 4th and goal from the 15 than it is to defend 4th and 15 from the 75-yard line. So that makes it more difficult. Like, you have to score a touchdown again, and then you get the ball back, and then you also eliminate the idea that a team could score an actual touchdown from that 4th and 15 play.
So you're saying if you convert 4th and 15, 4th and goal from the 15, then you keep possession.
Correct. So you score a touchdown, you kick an extra point, and then if it's late in the game and you want to keep the ball, you then get you spot the ball 4th and 15 or the 15-yard line, 4th and goal. If you get that, then you start wherever. I don't know where that ends up being, if it's the 40-yard line or whatever they end up deciding, but that's where you then get the new possession.
But it does become harder then to convert the 4th and 15. I didn't understand your point at first, and I didn't want to admit that I didn't understand it. But now I understand it. Sometimes on a Friday, it takes a little while for the neurons to fire. But look,
my brain is I got ideas going, so it's hard to it's a genius mind. Just follow along, hop on my back. We got this.
Either way, I think it's going to take some time to get the owners to warm up to anything that would represent a dramatic departure from the way the game has always been played. Mike Zimmer was on with Rich Eisen yesterday talking about the ease of getting a first down via a penalty, and that was the other concern that was raised yesterday, that if you do make it a 4th and 15 play, a scrimmage play, you put pressure on the officials to throw a flag if there is illegal contact, if there is defensive holding, if there is defensive pass interference. It puts too much on them. Hey, are you going to throw that flag? Are you not going to throw that flag? They become the center of controversy because the drive either was extended or wasn't extended when there was pushing and shoving and jostling on that 4th and 15 play. And how are the officials going to handle it? Are they going to bury the flag deeper in the pocket? Are they going to be calling the play like they would during any other setting? They don't want to put the officials in that position. And here's Mike Zimmer talking about his. Let's hear Zimmer, and then let's talk more on the other side. Zimmer, a defensive guy, shocker. He's going to be sensitive to the possibility of his guys being flagged and the other team getting a first down. But here's Zimmer from yesterday with Rich Eisen.
I'm against it, Rich, and I think part of the reason is, there's if you get a pass interference, it's automatic first down. I mean, there's a lot of things that could happen there that, and I'm a traditionalist anyway. I like football the way it is for the most part. The league is so tough. You work so hard to get to a situation where they have to kick an onside kick where your defense gets a little bit of a rest, and then you got to, but they score. Let's say they score, and obviously our job is not let them score. But if they do score, then the defense has to go out there again and try and get them stopped. And, it could have been a 10-play drive or whatever it was, but it's just weird to me. Okay, 4th and 15, let's have one more play. All right.
Yeah, look, here's the thing. And this gets back to the fact that football people are notoriously conservative. And I don't mean that politically. I mean they like things the way they are. And I can see from Mike Zimmer's standpoint, he's thinking deep down, my life is already hard enough trying to coach this football team without factoring in this crap 4th and 15 play that we'd have to defend in the event we're ahead. Of course, the other side of the coin is it gives you a device to come back if you're behind, and it's not like the Mike Zimmer-led Vikings are ahead by 2 scores late in every game that they're in. You know, this is something that becomes problematic for a team that otherwise is running over the opponents and is up by 10, 14, 16 points late in the game. So, you know, the other side of the coin is it gives your offense a chance to get back into games. I just think these guys don't want things to change because they just have a hard enough time keeping up with the way the game already is. They don't want to make the game more complicated. They don't have to think about things they currently don't think about because they've got their time fully occupied thinking about the stuff that already is on their plate. They don't want to add anything else.
Yeah, I mean, the penalty thing, I guess I understand it, but that also would be fixed if you do 4th and 15, 4th and goal from the 15, because you can just simply say you cannot convert this with a penalty. Like you can't score a touchdown on a penalty. So what happens if there's pass interference in the end zone? Okay, well, half the distance actually half the distance because it's 15-yard penalty.
But here's where your great idea is falling apart and then it becomes a series of plays, not one play.
No. You just say it's always 4th down. You can't get a first down off of a penalty, you can't score.
But wait a minute. But then what they're gonna then here's the thing. They're just gonna commit illegal contact on the receiver every play. If it's still 4th and 15, now it's 4th and 10. Now it's 4th and 5. Now it's 4th and 2.5. Now it's 4th and 1 1/4.
I disagree.
They're going to keep going half to the distance.
No, I don't think they would do that.
But why? Just if they can't, eventually they'll get the ball on the 1 yard line for their 4th down play. But maybe a team would prefer that. Maybe they would rather defend it. Maybe their thought is, and since you've dragged me down this rabbit hole, I'm going to keep going down the rabbit hole with you. If you've got a defense that is very good against the run, but is not good against the pass, 4th and 15 from the 15, under your idea, you tell your defensive backs, just knock these, just put them on their asses at the snap. Oh, penalty. Okay, 4th and 10 from the 10. Still 4th down, but we moved you 5 yards closer because there was illegal contact. All right, they do it again. Now it's 4th and 5. And you keep doing it until the only option is to run the ball. You got a great run defense, and you shut them down there, and it takes 5 plays to get there. So that's why, that's the problem. This is why the NFL is being cautious. These ideas can spin out of control with unintended consequences, and they're trying to spot all of them before they make a change like this.
Mike, guess what happens in that scenario if then the offense scores on 4th and goal from the 1? The coach becomes the absolute joke of the media and everyone else when he lets the team willingly just take penalties over and over and over. No coach is going to risk that to that level. Like if
I have a great rush defense and a horrible pass defense, I sure as hell will.
They're all conservative. The coaches are conservative. They're always thinking about their job. Do you think the optics of taking 5 consecutive penalties to slowly let them get down to the inch line and then letting them walk in?
There was a glitch in the rules recently where they had to fill it in because they were deliberately taking penalties for strategic advantage. Look, yes, they're conservative. They don't like to change the rules. Well, but that's a different one. You've always got guys who are going to exploit the rule book for their advantage. And even though the coaches typically don't like change, they're going to use strategically everything in the rule book to help them.
Though. That's fun. That's fun. This makes it fun. It makes it fun to think, okay, who's going to exploit this? I mean, can you not when you actually look back at the playoffs?
But now you're saying they will do it. First you say they won't do it. Now you're saying they will do it, and you like it.
Well, I don't think they would do it. But if you are convinced they will, I think there's an element of strategery that is very fun there that makes it interesting to watch. Where it's like, what are they going to come up with? What are the new rules? What's the hack here that the coaches can figure out to better position their team? I think that makes it fun. I don't think it's going to happen the way you're saying it, but if it does, I'm all for it as well.
On Friday mornings, I made
a great rule. You're just mad I made a great rule.
On Friday mornings, I could either do the show with you or I could juggle Jell-O. They are the same thing from the standpoint of trying to keep myself sane.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.